Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, and we are into the last chapter now, chapter number 18, which is entitled as Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, the perfection of renunciation. So please repeat after me. 18.1. Sannyasasya mahabaho
Sannyasasya Mahabaho.
tattvamicchami veditum
Tattvamicchami Veditum.
tag tyagasya cha rushikesha
Tyagasya Rushikesha.
pruthakkeshi nishudana.
Sutakkeshi Nishiyudana.
Thank you. So I'll just recite it once. 18.1 Sannyasasya Arjuna Uvacha Sannyasasya Mahabaho Tattvamicchami Veditum Tyagasya cha Rushikesha Pruthakeshu Nishudana. Now, word-to-word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace. Abhay Charanarvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ji ki Jai. Translation. Arjuna said, O mighty armed one, I wish to understand the purpose of renunciation, tyaga, and of the renounced order of life, sannyas. O killer of the Keshi demon, master of the senses. Purport. Actually, the Bhagavad Gita is finished in 17 chapters. The 18th chapter is supplementary summarization of the topics discussed before. In every chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna stresses that the devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate goal of life. This same point is summarized in the 18th chapter as the most confidential path of knowledge. In the first six chapters, stress was given to devotional service. Yoginam api sarvesha. Of all the yogis or transcendentalists, one who always thinks of me within himself is best. In the next six chapters, pure devotional service and its nature and activity were discussed. In the third six chapters, knowledge, renunciation, the activities of material nature and transcendental nature and devotional service were described. It was concluded that all acts should be performed in conjunction with Supreme Lord, represented by the words Om Tat Sat, which indicate Vishnu, the Supreme Person. The third part of Bhagavad Gita has shown that devotional service and nothing else is the ultimate purpose of life. This has been established by citing past acharyas and the Brahma Sutra, the Vedanta Sutra. Certain impersonalists consider themselves to have a monopoly on the knowledge of Vedanta Sutra, but actually the Vedanta Sutra is made for understanding devotional service. For the Lord himself is the composer of the Vedanta Sutra and he is its knower. That is described in the 15th chapter. In every scripture, every Veda, devotional service is the objective that is explained in Bhagavad Gita. As in the second chapter, a synopsis of the whole subject matter was described. In the 18th chapter, also the summary of all instruction is given. The purpose of life is indicated to be renunciation and attainment of the transcendental position above the three material modes of nature. Arjuna wants to clarify the two distinct subject matters of Bhagavad Gita, namely renunciation, tyaga, and the renounced order of life, sannyas. Thus, he is asking the meaning of these two words. The words used in this verse to address the Supreme Lord, Rishikesha and Keshi Nishudana, are significant. Rishikesh Krishna, the master of all senses, who can always help us attain mental serenity. Arjuna requests him to summarize everything in such a way that he can remain equipoised. Yet he has some doubts, and doubts are always compared to demons. He therefore addresses Krishna as Keshi Nishudana. Keshi was a most formidable demon who was killed by the Lord. Now Arjuna is expecting Krishna to kill the demon of doubt. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादा सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्विता नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरतुषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगे राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचा पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदेवतां श्री चैतन्य। Hare Krishna. So welcome back to our study and discussion. Maybe last few sessions now, 4 or 5 sessions for completing the last 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. So I would like to thank everyone to be present today also, especially those who are in Pune. After attending the Snan Yatra, they are again eager to study the Bhagavad Gita. That's very good. So where were we? Yeah, we are going to start this 18th chapter. So anything you remember, you understood, you remember, you would like to recall from the last discussion? What was that? I think we started from 17.10 where we're discussing the foods in the 3 modes, and then maybe the sacrifice, the austerity of the body, mind, and the speech. Yeah. And then the austerity again in the 3 modes, and the charity in 3 modes. And then we also discussed about the Om Tat Sat, how it actually indicates the Supreme Lord. And any sacrifice, charity, austerity, worship which is done without the faith in the Supreme Om Tat Sat, that will actually not bear any permanent results. That also we saw towards the end of the chapter. Sat and Asat, Om Tat Sat. So, anybody would like to recall 1 or 2 points? Then you can go ahead with the 18th chapter now. Yes, Yamunaji, will ask permission.
Prabhuji, I missed last Sunday's class, but I heard the recording. So I would like to share this. We discussed about spiritual infection, like Uchishta.
Ah,
So one should not exception is just the remnants of or the Maha of pure devotees. So we discussed about Narad Muni's case, like how he made progress in his spiritual journey because of having Uchishta from pure devotees. So we
yes.
discussed about that, and one of the striking point I felt is like before mentioning the austerity in different modes, the 3 types of austerities was mentioned: austerity of body, word, speech, and mind. So in that austerity of mind, Prabhupada writes that the satisfaction of mind comes uh, when we take away the mind away from the object of sense gratification. And Prabhupada gave the solution that we have to engage our mind in reading scriptures. So that point was very striking for me.
Okay, okay, very nice. Thank you. Yes. So as far as the food in the mode of ignorance is concerned, uchishtam apichamid, the bhojanam tamasakriya. So those who are in the mode of ignorance, they like to eat the uchishta and they don't mind. If you know, in some communities, they sit around one plate, one big plate, and everybody's eating from the same plate. So of course, there may be some different reason behind it, but or maybe sometimes we also consider it's it's a sign of love. Taking uchishta is sign of love. That's okay. But as far as the scriptures are concerned, as far as Lord Sri Krishna is concerned, as far as Bhagavad Gita is concerned, he clearly says it is actually uchishta is in the mode of ignorance. And Srila Prabhupada clarifies in the purport that because it spreads the disease and infections, so therefore it is not recommended for the medical reason also. So that was this thing. And then on the other hand, we saw the transcendental Uchishta also. That's very, very nourishing to our devotional service. Thank you for reminding that point. Anybody else? That's all? No more? Okay. So we'll go ahead. Arun Prabhu, you're back from the hospital now? At home? Welcome back.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes. So we'll go ahead. Today's 18th chapter. Yes. So there is no direct link now between chapter. Generally, we consider the link between the previous chapter and the next chapter also. And although we discussed that 13.22, Purusha Prakriti Stoi Bhungte Prakriti Jan Guna Karanam Guna Sangasyo Sad Asad Yoni Janush. This is the beach for all this last remaining 6 chapters. This is the connecting link. But as such, in the 18th chapter, there is no direct connection between 17th chapter and 18th chapter. And why is it like that? Because Srila Prabhupada mentions, we must have heard in the purport, Bhagavad Gita is actually completed in this 17th chapter only. So what we are going to see now is the summarization of all that has been discussed and few extra points, a few emphasize on the devotional service, especially the most important verse 18.66, the surrendering to Lord Sri Krishna. That is a theme verse of the Bhagavad Gita. If you want to summarize the entire Bhagavad Gita in one verse, that is 18.66, Sarva Dharman Parityaja. So Bhagavad Gita actually completes in 2 chapters. I mean, the second chapter where Lord Sri Krishna starts speaking, it is the entitled as a summary of the entire Bhagavad Gita, right? Second chapter. And there also, Srila Prabhupada mentions that the entire Bhagavad Gita, all the essential aspects, whether it is Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, it is knowledge about the soul and the body, it is about the Karma Yoga. What is the 2.47 famous verse? Karmanyeva adhikaraste nishkam karma yoga, right? That has been spoken. Bhakti is also spoken, some hints of Bhakti, Matpara, that verse comes. And then all the 3 different yogas, the Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, they have been hinted and they have been spoken in chapter number 2. And that's chapter number 2 also summarizes the entire Bhagavad Gita in a nutshell. So there also Bhagavad Gita was finished. But now because Arjuna had some doubts, and therefore he opens the 3rd chapter with doubt, and then he's asking, oh, on one hand you are telling me to renounce the work, give up the work, on another hand you said you fight this bloody war. So tell me, I mean, you're telling me both the things. Tell me one thing decisively. What should I do? And that's how again the Karma Yoga is being Nishkam Karma Yoga has been explained in the 3rd chapter. And that's how again all the further questions been answered. Again, now coming to the 17th chapter, again the Bhagavad Gita is again over. And now Lord Sri Krishna is going to summarize the entire. And this we typically see in the good teachers, before they start the class or discussion, they will tell you what we are going to study today, and towards the end also they will generally summarize. So Srila Prabhupada has been doing this typically in the first purport of any chapter. He will tell what is to expect in this chapter, and then towards the end of the chapter, the last purport also he summarizes what we have been studying so far in this chapter. So Lord Sri Krishna being the supreme teacher, is the ultimate teacher. So he's also, doing like this. And now, therefore, there is no direct link from 17 to 18. And now, what are the sections? There are 6 sections, 5 or 6 sections, you can say. That's there for the Moksha Sannyas Yoga, the perfection of renunciation. By doing tyaga, by doing, renouncing the fruits of our work, how we can just achieve the moksha or the perfection. That is actually the going back to Godhead. That has been explained. So the first 12 verses of this particular chapter, they will summarize again what we discussed in the Karma Yoga, first 6 chapters. So 1 to 12 in the 18th chapter, they will talk about Nishkam Karma Yoga. That section discussion will come up. And then 13 onwards, 13 to 18, or even you can say 13 to 40, again the Jnana section will be discussed. Whatever we are discussing, analysis we have been doing from 13 to 17 chapters. So what are the 5 most important factors for achieving Siddhaya Sarva Karmana, for achieving the perfection of any work or success in any work? What are those 5 factors they actually influence? That will be discussed 13 onwards, and then again 19 onwards, as has been the theme, Lord Krishna will discuss different things in the 3 modes again. Because if we studied 14 chapters about the 3 modes, and then 14th chapter talks about the 3 modes, how they influence or bind a conditioned living entity, a jiva in this material world. Then what is the effect of being bound by these 3 modes, especially the activities, the destination after the death, etc. Those effects we saw in the 14th chapter. And lastly, we also saw how to transcend the 3 modes. Mamcha yoga vicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatite tan brahma bhuya. And then again in the 17th chapter, where the discussion came up, the demons, they don't accept the scriptures. They work only for sense gratification. But there are some people who actually don't abide by the scriptures, don't follow the scriptures, but they take to some worship very faithfully. So what is their category? And an answer to this question at the beginning of the 17th chapter, Krishna will explain again the faith in the 3 modes, the worship in the 3 modes according to their faiths, austerities in 3 modes, foods in 3 modes, charity in 3 modes, sacrifices in the 3 modes, right? He will discuss. Now again here, 19 to 40, he will talk about how the modes are actually controlling all activities. Let it be jnana, knowledge. Let it be karma, the work. Let it be the karta, the worker. Let it be the buddhi or the intelligence. Let it be dhruti or the determination. Let it be sukham or the happiness. How that can be categorized in the goodness, passion, and ignorance. So that's a long discussion. Many verses are there. And then Lord Sri Krishna will summarize everything in 18.40. So you can say 1 to 12 is a summary of the first 6 chapters, Nishkam Karma Yoga, and 13 to 40, which is again an analysis. The Jnana section refers to basically analysis, right? So again, it's an analysis. That's actually the Jnana section from 13 to 17 chapter. Its summary is also again like that. You can see second section. Third section, 41 to 48, he will talk about how we can go from Sakam Karma to Nishkam Karma Yoga. Sakam Karma Yoga to Nishkam Karma Yoga. How we can achieve the freedom from the reactions to the work which one is doing by the occupational work, Brahmana's work, Kshatriya's work, etc. etc. So Sakam to Nishkam Karma Yoga, 41 to 48. 49 to 55, again further, now going up in the yoga ladder, Nishkam Karma Yoga to Jnana Yoga or the Brahman platform. And from there, again, how you can move to Bhakti Yoga or the devotional service. That will be explained, the famous verse 18.55. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na Shotina Kankshiti Sama Sarvesh Bhuteshu Mat Bhaktim Labate Param. So how we can go from Nishkam to Brahman platform or Jnana Yoga, and from there to Bhakti Yoga or the devotional service. Mad Bhaktim Labate Param. So then 56 to 66, that's about the pure devotional service, pure Bhakti. So 56 to 60, that's a theme of acting in Krishna consciousness or Sharanagati, we can say. So 56 to 60, Lord Sri Krishna will talk about how one can working in pure devotional service. Although one is in pure devotional service, but is still working. It's confidential knowledge. More confidential knowledge is actually spoken from 61 to 63. That is surrendering to the super soul. So confidential knowledge 56 to 60 is working in pure devotional service. More confidential knowledge is 61 to 63, surrendering to super soul. And then 64 to 66, these three verses. Most confidential knowledge, that is becoming a pure devotee of Lord Sri Krishna, or surrendering to the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Sarvadharman Parityaja, that will be spoken. And then the last 67 to 78 are about 12 verses where Lord Sri Krishna will speak and glorify the studying and teaching Bhagavad Gita. Nacha tasmad manusheshu kashtin me priya kritama bhavita nacha me tasmad anya priyataro bhuvi. There is no one more dear to me than one who explains Bhagavad Gita to others, and there will be no one dear in future also, Lord Krishna is declaring. And ya idam paramam guhyam mad bhakteshu abhidhasati bhaktim mahi param kutva mame veshati samsha. The one who explains ya idam paramam guhyam, this guhyam knowledge, mad bhakteshu abhidhasati, one who explains it to my devotee, bhaktim mahi param kutva, he will attend to my pure devotional service, mame veshati assumption, he will come back to me. That is also being explained. So glories of studying and teaching Bhagavad Gita. And then the last 4-5 verses, thing before that, next 4-5 verses, Arjuna's realization. He will speak about it. Nashto moho smritir labda tat prasadat maya achyuta sthito asmirata sandeha karishya vachananta. That's the last verse by Arjuna. So his realization will speak. All my doubts and everything is gone. Now I'm steadfast in my duty as you are explaining to me, or as you are instructing it to me. And the very last 4-5 verses, Sanjaya is not going to speak, and he's going to speak his realization, how he's actually being, there is a romanch as long, I mean, again and again, he wants to hear this samvad between Arjuna and Krishna on the battlefield, which is in the form of Bhagavad Gita. And by hearing that, actually his hairs are standing on the end, and he's actually experiencing a transcendental ecstasy. And then he will give the answer to the first question, the first verse spoken by Dhritarashtra in the last verse of the Bhagavad Gita, where Dhritarashtra has inquired from him, Dharma Kshetra Kurukshetra Samaveta Yutsava, Mamaka Pandavasya Kim Kurvat Sanjay. He will say, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna Yatra Partha Dhavudara, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matir. That's the answer to the first verse in the very last verse of the Bhagavad Gita, 18.78. Thus, we can see this chapter is the biggest chapter in the entire Bhagavad Gita, 78 verses. Again, it is summarizing, and similarly, summary was there in the second chapter, which is also second biggest, having 72 verses. Okay, so we have a long way to go. So, well, please fasten your seat belts and be ready. So 18.1 we discussed Arjuna Vaja Sannyasasya Mahabaho. So Arjuna is addressing Krishna by these three words here. First is Mahabahu, O mighty armed one. So this Mahabahu is being used by Krishna to address Arjuna also, and he will do that in the 13th verse going further. But here Arjuna is saying to Krishna, you are Mahabahu, and you are Rishikesha, and you are Keshi Nishudana. You are the killer of the demon Keshi. So we already saw the meaning, so we'll also discuss that. So he's saying, Sannyasasya Mahabahu Tattvam Ichhami Veditum. I want to Veditum, I want to know what is this Tattva, what is the meaning of sannyasa, like that, the renunciation. And then Tyagasya cha Rushikesha Pruthakeshu Nishita. Tyagasya means the, what is it? Tyaga means, what is the word for tyag in English? Renunciation.
Sacrifice or renunciation.
Renunciation.
Renunciation of sacrifice. Okay, yes. So again, it is English word, same renunciation. So pruthak means, are they two different things or are they the same thing? This is the doubt Arjuna is having. And if you know why Arjuna is asking this question, so because now he wants to know, now the Bhagavad Gita is coming to an end, now discussion is coming to an end, and these terms have been spoken by Krishna earlier. So if you read Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan, where these words have been spoken by Krishna earlier. They give the references. If you study 5.13, Sarva Karmani Manasa Sanyasyaste Sukham Vashi Navadware Pure Dehi Naiva Kurvanna Karya. So there sannyasas, many places, but just one example I'm giving. 5.13, where the sannyas word has been used by Krishna. So what is the meaning of that there? And then in the 4.20, Srila Baldev Devotion says, Tyaktva karma phala sangam nitya trupto nirashraya karmani abhipravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti. So again, where the discussion is there about the Tyaktva karma phala sangam. So there's Tyaga, Tyaktva karma phala sangam. So that word is also there. Tyaga is mentioned in such statements. Karma phala sangam is actually referring to the Tyaga. So is this same or is it something different? And if it is different, if there is any difference, I would like to know now, because now the time has come for Arjuna to make some action. Now before he performs any action, he wants to make sure he has understood these things correctly, and based on that he wants to act like that. So this Rishikesha, so here it is being said, because you are the master of the senses and you are also the uh, Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan says, because you stimulate the function of intelligence, you only have produced this doubt in me. Because you are controlling your pure devotees to the extent they are surrendered. To that extent, Krishna will control our senses. Otherwise, he will just give us the free will. So, because you are only controlling my intelligence, you have aroused this doubt in me. Maybe for the benefit of all of us who are going to study Bhagavad Gita. So, for that purpose, is being addressed as Rishikesha by Arjuna. And Keshi Nishudan means this doubt has come, and this doubt is like a demon. Therefore, you only kill this doubt in the form of demon, because you are a killer of the foremost demon, that is Keshi. So, that is also been addressed. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur interestingly explains about Mahabahu. Mahabahu means the mighty armed one. So he says, "Oh mighty armed one, Mahabahu, you have a great strength in your arms," Arjuna is saying. But what is the strength in my arms that compared to your strength? My strength is actually insignificant. There's nothing, as good as nothing, right? But although that is the case, you have become friendly with me now, correct? Although I am your expansion, I'm part and parcel. You have become friendly with me. Therefore, I am not afraid to ask you this question. Oh mighty, oh Mahabharata. That is how our Rasikacharya, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains. And in the paragraph, there are 3 paragraphs in the purport we already read. So again, Srila Prabhupada summarizes what we have been discussing in so far, 1 to 6 chapters, 7 to 12 chapters, 13 to 18 chapters. And Srila Prabhupada is stressing devotional service only has been stressed here. Whether it is Nishkam Karma Yoga, whether it is Jnana Yoga, it is actually leading to Bhakti Yoga. And Bhakti Yoga is the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. And ultimately, by reading Bhagavad Gita, we have to become a devotee of Krishna, and different ways that has been explained, different places, different sections that Srila Prabhupada explains. And then he also told about this summary in the 2nd chapter. Again, it is being done here in the 18th chapter towards the end of the Bhagavad Gita. And now the meaning of these addresses to Krishna by these 3 words that also we saw. Okay, so now next is the answer given by Krishna to Arjuna's question. Okay, 18.2 Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Kamyanam Karmanam Nyasam Sanyasam Kavayo Vidu Sarva Karma Phalatyagam Prahustyagam Vichakshana. So please read Kishore Madhav translation.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the giving up of activities that are based on material desires is what great learned man can call the renounced order of life, sannyasa, and giving up the result of all activities is what the wise call renunciation.
Okay, so there is some confusion. It looks like little similar also, but little different also. The sannyasa order in the varnashrama, sannyasa order, and as such doing tyaga, renouncing the fruits of our action. So Lord Sri Krishna is telling him that kamyanam karmanam nyasam. Kamyanam means there are 3 kinds of activities we perform. They are called as, anybody knows what is Kamyanam? Kamyanam Karmanam. Kamya Karma is one out of them, right? Kamya Karma means what? As the word suggests itself,
with desire.
with material desire, correct. Having some personal or material desire for fulfilling that, whatever activities we are doing, that is called as Kamya Karma. Then there are another two activities, they're called as Nitya Karma and Naimitya Karma. So if you read purport to the Bhagavad Gita 2.47, Srila Prabhupada loosely mentions this there, where he says routine work, emergency work, and desired activities. So desired activities means kamyanam, karmanam. Kamya karma means I want a certain result, I want a certain fruit, I want to fulfill my desire, material desire. So I'm performing certain activity. So in the Vedic, Vedas are so broad-minded. Krishna is so broad-minded and so merciful that he allows us, although we are rebelled and come to the material world, he allows through the Vedas, the Karma Kanda portion, where we can fulfill our desires by taking help of Krishna and the Vedas, which even modern people are not doing. So, like you want to, any example you would like to give of the Kamya Karma? You want to have a son, putra kameshti yajna. It's being prescribed in the Veda, right? I want to have son. There's nothing wrong with that. I want to have a child. So that's their putra kameshti. Oh, I want to go to Swarga. Okay, fine. You want to go to Swarga, perform Jyotishtama sacrifice and go to Swarga, go to Nandan gardens and enjoy there, drink so much juice or whatever like that. So it's a Kamya Karma. So through Karma Kanda sections, our desires can be fulfilled. Krishna allows that. Okay, somehow you get attracted to the Vedas, get accept the authorities of the Vedas, even in the Karma Kanda, chant some mantras, chant the holy name, chant Krishna's name, and somehow get little bit purified. And by abiding the authority of the Vedas, by Krishna's authority, the path he has shown, little bit purification can also happen, and maybe there is a chance of elevation further. Therefore, Karma Kanda portion is there. Just like small children, they go to lower KG senior. What schooling they do there? They have to just do goda goda, gadi, play and eat some snacks and come back home, right? That is only. But by doing regularly, they will stay away from parents. Initially, they will cry so much, but later will get used to, and then they will abide by the teacher. Oh, they'll accept, and then they will go further and then take up the study later on. Fine. So that's something like kamya karma or karma. So that's one type of activity, kamya karma. Second is nitya karma. Nitya karma means you have to do it daily. There is no choice. In the Vedic structure, culture, you have to take a bath, you have to perform Sandhya Vandanam, you have to recite the Vedas, you have to perform some homa, some 5 types of sacrifices they have recommended, etc. like that. So offer some tarpan, etc. like that. So there are nitya karmas. You cannot give it up. They are prescribed duties like that. They are obligatory. They are defined in the scripture, prescribed by the Krishna through the scriptures according to your varnashrama situation like that. They're called as nitya karma. Second is, third one is naimittika karma. Naimittika karma means, as the word suggests, what it is? Naimittika?
Incidental.
Incidental, or it is not daily, and it is not basically based on my desire, but it is circumstantial. Certain occasion comes. Oh, there is a child is born in the house. Oh, there's some death happened in the family. I need to perform anteshti rituals like that. So last rituals I need to perform. So like these, some special events when they come, they don't come daily, or they once in a while they come. So that's called as naimittika karma. So what Krishna is telling here is Kamyanam Karmanam Nyasam. Now you understand Kamyanam Karmanam Nyasam means actually giving up the activities that are based on material desires for my personal sense gratification. All those activities which are there, giving up those activities is called as Sannyasam Kavayo Vidu. Those who are Kavi, those who are intelligent people, they understand or they know that giving up the uh, activities based on material sense gratification or based on material desires, giving up such activities is called as sannyasam. So those who are in the renounced order of life, They do not have anything now. Sannyas, those who have taken sannyas means they are socially dead. Their family life is dead. If they are at all, they have a family. Either you can go through the brahmacharya ashram to sannyas, or through grahastha, you can, like Srila Prabhupada went from grahastha to sannyas. They have nothing to do with the family, with children, with the wife, etc. Now all things that's behind them now. They are already grown up children or whatever, and now they are taking care of their mother, etc. And now Sat Adhik Nyas, that is sannyas. For the for the supreme absolute truth, now you have given up everything else. Now no personal desires. You're socially dead person now, like that. So everything is dedicated by your kaya, manasa, vacha. All everything is dedicated for the supreme absolute truth or for Lord Sri Krishna. That's called as sannyas ashram. No more kama karmas. Now, next one is, what is tyaga? Sarva karma phalam tyagam. Prahus tyagam vichikshana. Vichakshana. Vichakshana means those who are experienced. They call prahus tyagam. What is tyaga means? Sarva karma phala tyaga. Whether you may be doing kamya karma, but you have to give up the fruits of the activities. Nitya karmas are never to be given up. Naimitya karma never to be given up. But especially those who are in the grahastha ashram, they have to perform kamya karma also, but they have to do that without the uh, without the fruits for the personal sense. Any example you can think of? I want to have a child. Like the highest example I'm giving. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. He prayed to Lord Jagannath Ji for what? For a child, a ray of Vishnu, who can take up this preaching work. And who was born?
Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati.
Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati.
Yeah, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur was born. So it was not, the desire was to have a child, but was there any desire for personal sense gratification? Was there any material desire? Obviously no, right? So that's called as Sarva Karma Phala Tyaga. You don't have to give up the work, you have to give up the fruits of the work. Means you have to do these activities only for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. That is what is meant by Tyaga. So it is same, but it is a little difference also. And it is same in the sense, uh, Krishna will explain that in 18.7. They can be interchangeably used also. It's not, they are same and they are not same also. That's our philosophy. What is that? Achintya Bheda Bheda. So essentially they are same, like that. But somebody is being situated in the sannyasa ashram, they will not perform kamya karma no matter what. But those who are in grahastha ashram, they can do all the kamya karmas, this thing, but they will renounce the fruits of the activities. Like, so somebody can please read, Kishore Madhav Prabhu, can please read the small purport also.
The performance of activities for results has to be given up. This is the instruction of Bhagavad Gita. But activities leading to advanced spiritual knowledge.
Where is this one second short? Sorry. Where is
Sorry?
this performance of activities for results has to be given up? Means no fruits. Where it is been explained in Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada is not
Karmanye vadikaraste.
very good. Karmanye vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadach. The most quoted words, but quite often, but not. It is least understood words, right? Karmanye vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadach. Where else? 3.9 also, if you see, what is that verse? Yajñarthat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma tadartham karma kvanteya mukta sangha samaj. Or in the same chapter, third chapter, 30 verse. What is that? I forgot. 3.30. Somebody can just check. Okay. So, yeah. So please, meantime, please continue reading.
मयि सर्वाणि
Maya
कर्माणि
मयि
sarvani.
सर्वाणि कर्माणि सन्न्यस्य अध्यात्मचेतसा निराशीर्निर्ममो भूत्वा युद्धस्य विदुः. Maya sarvani karmani. Give up all your activities and their fruits to Adhyatma Chitta. Perform them with spiritual consciousness and offer them to me, like that. Yat karoshi, yad asnashi, yad juhoshi, dadasi. So many verses you can see where the fruits have to be given up is being recommended. Next, but activities. Prabhuji, please read.
But activities leading to advanced spiritual knowledge are not to be given up. This will be made clear in next verses. In the Vedic literature, there are many prescriptions of methods of performing sacrifice for some particular purpose. There are certain sacrifices to perform to attain a good sun or attain elevation to higher planets, but sacrifices prompted by desire should be stopped. However, sacrifice for the purification of one's heart or for advancement in spiritual science should not be given up.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So this will be again discussed further in the next verses. Uh, Now, after answering Arjuna in short, giving answer in brief, now Lord Sri Krishna is going to little elaborate and is going to talk about different categories or different philosophers who have different opinions. And what do they say? Sometimes it may be conflicting opinions. Okay. So what is that? 18.3. Tyajyam doshavaditye ke दोषवत इति एके त्याज्यम दोषवत इति एके कर्म प्राहुर मनीषिण यज्ञदान तप कर्म न त्याज्यम इति चापरे. Please read Bhakti Leela Mataji.
Some learned men declare that all kinds of fruitive activities should be given up as a faulty. Yet another sages maintain that act of sacrifice, charity, and penance should never be abandoned.
So this is the conflicting view now. Some say Tyajyam doshavat means there are actually some doshas in activities. So therefore give up all the activities. Prahur Manishina. Manishina means those who are great thinkers. They prahu, they say like that. Give up all the activities because there are faults in those activities. Like some philosophers they say. So, and others what they say, yajna, dana, tapa, karma. These three things, yajna, sacrifice, dana, charity, and tapa, the austerities. Such kind of work, they should never be given up. They should never be abandoned. This is said by some another categories of philosophers. So who are these? Sushila Baldev Vidyabhushan explains, the followers of the Sankhya philosophy, Sankhya, Gyanis, they say that action should be given up completely because by nature in those actions there is a violence, there is a dosha, there is a fault in them. Like there is a statement in the Shruti, he says, Ma himsat sarva bhutani, do not commit violence against any living entity. And then when the yajna is being performed and animals have been sacrificed, there is inherently there is a fault in that activity. Therefore, it should be given up. So they say the Shrutis they say violence is integral to the sacrifice. Therefore, it should be given up. All prescribed duty should be given. Don't get entangled. Give up all activities. Just sannyas, like that some people they say. And others, the followers of Jaimini, Karma Mimamsa, what do they say? Actions such as sacrifice should not be given up. Why? Because no sin is incurred in them because they have been prescribed in Vedas. If the Vedas says something, do this, we do it blindly without any problem, like that. No? So therefore, these prescribed duties are given prescribed in the Vedas. So no matter what you do, even if you sacrifice an animal, then you will not have any fault in them. Okay. So the injunctions of non-violence is stated in the Vedas as a general rule and speaks of incurring sin for actions other than sacrifice. This sacrifice cannot at all be criticized. So purport also please read. Srila Prabhupada explains there. Yeah, Mataji, please.
Purport. There are many activities in the Vedic literature which are subject of contention. For instance, it is said that an animal can be killed in a sacrifice. Yet some maintain that animal killing is completely abominable. Although animal killing in a sacrifice is recommended in the Vedic literature, the animal is not considered to be killed. The sacrifice is to give a new life to the animal. Sometimes the animal is given a new animal life after being killed in the sacrifice, and sometimes the animal is promoted immediately to the human form of life. But there are different opinions amongst the sages. Some say that animal killing should always be avoided, and others says that for a specific sacrifice it is good. All these different opinions on sacrificial activities are now being clarified by the Lord Himself.
Okay. So these are the opinions, and Lord Sri Krishna will give his own opinion in the final conclusion also. But we see that in the fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where there is a Daksha Prajapati's episode is being there, where he actually blasphemes and insults and offends Lord Shiva, and then the sacrifices are being performed in Daksha's place, and everybody's going their aeroplane by nicely dressing, etc. And Sati, the wife of Lord Shiva, wants to also go there. Lord Shiva advises, don't go, but she wants to go, and she goes there. And there's a nice passage there which is relevant to our discussion here. So Mataji, can you please read from the screen the translation, and also once again, yes, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, can you read this translation? Then the second paragraph I will show you. Yeah, please read.
Yes. Translation. She then reached her father's house, where the sacrifice was being performed, and entered the arena where everyone was chanting the Vedic hymns. The great sages, Brahmanas, and demigods were all assembled there, and there were many sacrificial animals, as well as pot made of clay, stone, gold, brass, and skin, which were all requisite for the sacrifice.
Which were all requisite for the sacrifice. Okay, so this this paragraph, so you can please.
Another significant point in this verse is that there were animals for sacrifice, and that these animals were meant for sacrifice does not mean that they were meant to be killed. The great sages and realized soul assemble were performing yagyas, and their realization was tested by animal sacrifice. Just as in modern science, tests are made on animals to determine the effectiveness of a particular medicine. The Brahmanas entrusted with the performance of yagya were very realized soul, and to test their realization, an old animal was offered in the fire and rejuvenated. That was the test of a Vedic mantra. The animal gathered were not meant to be killed and eaten. The real purpose of a sacrifice was not to replace a slaughterhouses, but to taste a Vedic mantra by giving an animal new life. Animals were used to test the power of Vedic mantra, not for meat.
Okay, thank you. Just like while cooking the food, you put the kadai, you put the oil, then you put the mustard seeds. And by putting the mustard seeds, when they start chattering, now it's actually the right temperature, and you put everything, all the other ingredients. So similarly, by sacrificing animal, then everything is going on very well. That was the purpose. Okay, anyway, that was a side point. So now, Lord Krishna will give his own opinion. 18.4. निश्चयं शृणु मे तत्र त्यागे भरत सत्तम त्यागो हि पुरुष व्याघ्र त्रिविध संप्रकीर्तित. Who's there? Yes, Prerna Mataji, can you please read translation and the small purport also.
Text 4 na Prabhuji.
Yes, 18.4.
Yeah, एक minute. O best of the Bharatas, now hear my judgment about renunciation. O tiger among men, renunciation is declared in the scriptures to be of three kinds. Purport. Although there are differences of opinion about renunciation, here the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, gives his judgment, which should be taken as final. After all, the Vedas are different laws given by the Lord. Here the Lord is personally present, and his word should be taken as final. The Lord says that the process of renunciation should be considered in terms of the modes of material nature in which they are performed.
Okay, fine. So you can see this verse mentions Nishchayam Shunume Tatra Tyage Bharata Sattama. Oh, the best of the Bharatas, please, I will certainly tell you about Tyaga. And Tyago hi Purusha Vyagra. Purusha Vyagra means tiger among the men. This tyaga is of Trivida Samprakirtita. Is these three kinds of tyaga is being declared. So although the verse talks about the tyaga, the translation of Srila Prabhupada includes renunciation. My judgment about renunciation. Tiger among the men, renunciation is declared in the scripture of the three kinds. So this sannyasa, ashram, and tyaga, they can be also interchangeably also used. And now, just like so many things earlier, previously we discussed, they have been explained by Lord Sri Krishna in three modes. Now he will similarly explain the tyaga also in the three modes. Okay, but his own conviction, his own opinion, he will state first that 18.5 says, Lord Sri Krishna, yajna dana tapa karma na tyajyam karyameva tat yajno danam tapaschaiva pavanani manishi. Now, although whatever else other categories of philosophers say this, that, etc., what Lord Sri Krishna says, that has been explained in the 18.5. So please read Yamuna Vilas Prabhu.
Yes, please. Acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance are not to be given up. They must be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity, and penance purify even the great souls.
Okay, so yajna, dan, tapa, karma. Yajna, sacrifice, dan, the charity, tapa means actually austerity, karma, na tyajyam karyam evata. It should not be given up, tyajyam, anytime. Why? Yajno, dana, tapaschaiva. All these three activities, pavanani, manishina. They can purify even the great souls. Manishina means the great munis who have great control over their minds, but still they can be purified by performing these three acts of sacrifice, austerity, and charities. Okay, because they purify the consciousness. Okay. Yeah, please read the purport also.
The yogis should perform acts for the advancement of human society. There are many purificatory processes for advancing a human being to spiritual life. The marriage ceremony, for example, is considered to be one of these sacrifices. It is called Vivaha Yagya. Should a sannyasi who is in the renounced order of life and who has given up his family relations encourage the marriage ceremony? The
Why
Lord says
Srila
here,
Prabhupada is asking this? I mean, this is weird, right? Sannyas, somebody is in sannyas order, is sannyasi, and who has given his own family relations. Why should he encourage a marriage ceremony? Why Prabhupada is making this statement?
Prabhuji, I think, can I answer, Prabhuji?
Yeah, please.
Because I think Prabhupada being a sannyasi, he was conducting marriage ceremonies.
Yes. So he was conducting marriage ceremony, although he was a sannyasi himself. The first marriage in ISKCON, Mukunda and Janaki. Mukunda and Janaki, they were staying just like that together, and they were initiated. And next day, Srila Prabhupada called them and said, now you must get married. You should stay like a husband and wife, not just like that. So you have to follow four regulatory principles, etc., etc. So you must get married. And that was the first marriage. I mean, who is the Brahmana who can conduct a marriage there in 1966 in America? Nowadays, of course, everything is available there. Everybody has gone there. Yoga teacher has gone, Brahmana has gone, doctors have gone, everybody's gone there, right? But that time there was no one. And that was the time when, Prabhupada did those things which a sannyasi is not supposed to do. He conducted a marriage. But what was the purpose behind that? That will be explained further. Prabhupada taught the ladies, their Western ladies, they didn't know how to wear a sari, right? So that also taught by a sannyasi who has nothing to do with all these things, but he did that. But the purpose was what? Purpose was not a kamya karma. Purpose was for the taking the mission ahead. The mission has to be spread. Girls have to come, boys have to come, they have to get married. Proper way everything has to be done. So therefore, he actually did. Not that because he was very much liking to do this marriage and this and that, etc. like that. Okay, fine. So please go ahead. And if you want to read, there are very, very nice descriptions about the first marriage. You please read about this in the Leelamrita also. How the family members, there was no family members, only one family member of the uh, bride, that is of the Jane. Her sister was there. Her name was Janaki, Jane became Janaki, and then Yamuna Devi Mataji. What is her name earlier? Yamuna Devi Mataji. Whatever. Okay, I forgot. Anyway, so she was the sister of Jane, who's going to get married to Michael, who later on became Mukunda. So Janaki's sister, she also came all the way flying so many hours of, by the aeroplane. And she came, and then Prabhupada engaged her in the initially. She was in the jeans and everything. And Prabhupada engaged in her cooking. And she wanted to smoke in between. She had a smoke break in between. And then she didn't know how to make a dough. And Prabhupada said, in India, even a 5-year-old girl, those days, maybe not now, even a 5-year-old girl knows how to make a dough there like that. And that's how they, till that time, all these people there, they used to just eat dal, chapati, and dal, sabji, chapati, rice only. But that day, Swamiji has cooked on the marriage day some 12, 13, 14 items. And everybody had a grand first feast, marriage feast. And there was one particular boy, his name was later on become Brahmananda. So Brahmananda had missed the initiation ceremony, first 11 people who got initiated. So he was not present. Now he was present in the marriage, and he tasted the prasadam, especially tasted the kachori. And there itself he resolved, I will dedicate my life to Swamiji. I'm going to become a disciple of Swamiji, and I'm going to surrender to Krishna like that. It resolved just by eating one kachori made by the pure devotee, like that. And there were many, many macrobiotic people. Macrobiotic means their diet was, they don't eat sugar, these, that, all these spicy and fried items. But when they saw everybody is having a gala time, they kept aside everything about microbiotic, and they had a nice feast there, and everybody ate sumptuously. So it's very, very nice description there about first marriage and feast prepared by Srila Prabhupada with the help of that lady who later on become Yamuna Mataji, who later on went on to become the best cook in ISKCON, and she won so many awards, and also she wrote cookbooks also. Anyway, so please go ahead and read further.
The Lord says here that any sacrifice which is meant for human welfare should never be given up. Vivaha Yagya, the marriage ceremony, is meant to regulate the human mind so that it may become peaceful for spiritual advancement. For most men, this Vivaha Yagya should be encouraged even by persons in the renounced order of life. Sannyasis should never associate with women, but that does not mean that one who is in the lower stages of life, a young man, should not accept a wife in the marriage ceremony. All prescribed sacrifices are meant for achieving the Supreme Lord. Therefore, in the lower stages, they should not be given up. Similarly, charity is for the purification of the heart. If charity is given to a suitable persons, as described previously, it leads one to advance spiritual life.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So, Yajna Dana Tapa, this should not be given. And in connection with the Yajna, Vivaha Yajna has been discussed, and that's how we discuss about how Prabhupada conducted yajnas. In fact, if you see the Cross Maidan Pandal program in India, 1971, Bombay, which took place where two great devotees, His Holiness Lokanath Swami Maharaj and His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, they came through that program. So in that Cross Maidan also, 25,000 people used to come and attend the Prabhupada's satsang. And in the last day, there was a marriage, again, on-stage marriage of the foreigners. Lokanath Swami Maharaj says, I have heard about the Vrindavan sadhus, Pandharpur sadhus, but I have never heard about the European sadhus and American sadhus in those days, 1970s. But he saw them first time, and they were all shaven-headed, shikha, kantimala, dhoti, kurta, etc. So it was very, very surprising for all the Indians, and especially for Indians, marriage means something very big. So there was an Australian girl and there was a European boy. They were getting married on that day, last day, and Prabhupada, conducted the marriage as per the Vedic these things, and he took up the mic towards them and said, "This is the real United Nation." An Australian boy and Australian girl and a European boy like that. So that's how Prabhupada conducted marriages, and he also called ISKCON as the real United Nations. Okay, fine. there is a quotation of Srila Prabhupada about the tapasya. So maybe we can just read that quickly and then take a break. So Yamuna Vilas Prabhu, can you please read from the screen?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, second. Yeah.
Bhagavad Gita 18:5. Tapasya means voluntarily accepting inconveniences for spiritual upliftment. Tapasya means voluntarily accepting all kinds of inconveniences. Material activities mean we are trying to avoid inconveniences. Spiritual life means to execute tapasya, austerity, penance, even at the risk of all inconveniences. This is called tapasya. So Krishna says, Yajna dana tapa kriya na tajam. Tajam. You can give up your family life, but you cannot give up yajna dan tapa. That you cannot do in any circumstances. These things must be continued. Yajna dan tapa na tajam karma karyam
Kari?
eva.
Okay. Please go.
Karyam means you must do it. So unless you practice yajna from the very beginning, giving giving charity, if you are a grahastha, or undergo tapasya on taking sannyas, how will you understand this philosophy? It is not possible. In the Kali Yuga, however,
Mm. Yeah.
this yajna is not possible. Ritualistic yajna, sacrifice as recommended in the Vedas, is not possible. It is very expensive. You have to acquire much ghee and grains and so many other things. Feed so many people daily. It is a very difficult task to perform the ritualistic yajna. Therefore, Krishna has made it easy. What is that? Yajna sankirtane prayar yajanti hi sumedasa. Those who have brains, who are not dull, not filled with cow dung, can understand Sankirtan Yajna. Then it fulfills the injunction of the Bhagavad Gita, Yajna Dana Tapa Kriya. Lecture 18.5, London 17.
Okay. So that's Srila Prabhupada. So we'll take a break and come back after 5 minutes and we'll continue our discussion. And towards the end, if anybody has any comments, doubts, questions, we'll take them. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram. So that was about the
Just a question, Prabhu.
yeah.
Today the class will be continued to 1:30 or 2 o'clock?
We started late now, half an hour. So it
2
will
o'clock.
go on half an hour late. That is
2
2 o'clock. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So what I was saying, yeah. So Srila Prabhupada, he talks about this Vivaha Yajna, Yajna Dana Tapa in that context. And actually he was very, very heavily criticized by his own god brothers, by many Indians for, conducting marriages and many things which a sannyasi is not supposed to do, because he was doing, going by aeroplane, traveling by aeroplane, crossing the ocean, going to the Yamanas, Mlechas places in the Western world, conducting marriages, giving Diksha to the women, sannyas to the Yamanas and Mlechas like that. But we know Prabhupada did everything for the spreading the movement, spreading Krishna consciousness, and for pleasure of his Guru and Krishna only. And that's how he is most successful in the history of the world. Okay, and so many people are being benefited. So next now, when we do these activities, what should be the mood in which these activities should be done? 18.6, Lord Sri Krishna says, Etani api tu karmani sangam tyaktva phalani cha kartavyaniti me partha nishchitam matam uttamam. Yeah. Who's there? Arun Prabhu, can you please read 18.6 translation?
Yes, Guruji. Translation. All these activities should be performed without attachment or any expectation of result. They should be performed as a matter of duty. O son of Pritha, that is my final opinion.
So all the activities should be done as a matter of duty, and that is without any attachment. Karmani sangam and tyaktva phalani. Tyaktva phalani means with giving up the fruits, dedicating them to the Supreme Lord. That is a transcendental platform, but at least even if somebody is doing on a 3 modes level, they should be doing like this without attachment. They see Sakam Karma means what? There is Sakam Karma, Yoga, and Nishkama Karma. Sakama Karma means one is attached to the fruits, one is attached to the particular kind of activity only. I will do only cooking only. I will not do the cleaning of the pots. I will do only Abhishek. I will not do Abhishek preparation seva, like that. I'm attached to a particular work and then attached to the fruits also. Okay, I will do the activities, but I don't mind whatever people they say, this good, bad, or whatever. They criticize me, these things. I will just do it for the, for the service. We do it for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna and for the devotees. So without any expectations of any results like that. So that's the Lord Sri Krishna's final opinion. It should be done without attachment, without expectations of the results. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur here explains, giving up the idea of being the doer and giving up the seeking results is tyaga. And that is also called as sannyas. Sannyas means we know it is giving up the sat adhiknyas in general. Sannyas means giving, renouncing. So that's not seeking the results. That's also tyaga and that's also sannyas. So here basically the giving up the idea of being doer, doership mentality, which is very deeply rooted in us. So that has to be given up. And the conclusion of the Lord about Tyaga is the best because it includes additional renunciation of being a doer. That is also explained by Srila Bhagavad. So we know this Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is said, Dhanam na Janam Sundarim, birth after birth, I want to serve you. And it's very, very high. But that should be also our aspiration. Na Dhanam, na Janam, na Sundarim. Every time na is being, so that we should not mistake, and okay, maybe only for the na is used for the first word. No. No dhanam, no janam, no sundari, no followers, no wealth, and no sundarim also like that. So His Holiness Radha Swami Maharaj says, just like the sailors in the ocean, they travel, and in the old days they had this north star, right? That is the reference point, and with that reference points they used to travel. Okay, north star is here, we have to go here, there, like that, in that direction. Similarly, says it's a not this particular verse by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Shikshashtakam, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. That is the North Star of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Society. For all the devotees here in ISKCON, that should be also the North Star. That is our reference point. Although it's very, very high, but that's how we need to aspire also. That should be our aspiration. So please read the purport also.
Purport. Although all sacrifices are purifying, Although all sacrifices are purifying, one should not expect any result by such performances. In other words, all sacrifices which are meant for material advancement in life should be given up. But sacrifices that purify one's existence and elevate one to the spiritual plane should not be stopped. Everything that leads to Krishna consciousness must be encouraged. In the Srimad Bhagavatam also, it is said that any activity which leads to devotional service to the Lord should be accepted. That is the highest criterion of religion. A devotee of the Lord should accept any kind of work, sacrifice, or charity which will help him in the discharge of devotional service to the Lord.
Okay. So, Tyaga and Sannyas are essentially the same. So, now in the three modes, renunciation or Tyaga, that will be actually explained. 18.7. Niyatas Niyatasya tu sannyasa karmananopapadyate mohatasya parityagas tamasa parikirtita. Please read, Mukund Pat Prabhuji.
Prescribed duties should never be renounced. If one gives up his prescribed duties because of illusions, such a renunciation is said to be in the mode of ignorance.
So Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan says clearly, one should give up the Kamya karmas because they lead to bondage, but one should not renounce Nitya and Naimitya karma. You know, they, give me 1 second, I'll just come, somebody at the door. Yeah, Hare Krishna. So, where were we? You were reading or already read?
So I read Prabhuji translation. Purport is there.
Yeah, you read the purport also.
Work for material satisfaction must be given up, but activities which promote one to spiritual activity like cooking for the Supreme Lord and offering the food to the Lord and then accepting the food are recommended. It is said that a person in the renounced order of life should not cook for himself. Cooking for oneself is prohibited, but cooking for Supreme Lord is not prohibited. Similarly, a sannyasi may perform a marriage ceremony to help his disciple in the advancement of Krishna consciousness. If one renounces such activities, it is to be understood that he is acting in the mode of darkness.
Okay. So mohatasya parityaga, tamasa parikita. The mohatasya means he's being illusion. What is to be done, what is not to be done. He is not knowing this. So therefore, without knowing what is to be done, what is not to be done, how it is to be done, if somebody simply renounces, then that kind of tyaga, that kind of renunciation is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Now the next one is mode of passion. Now, why one renounces in the mode of passion? Because it is troublesome activity. Therefore, he renounces. Dukkham iti eva yat karma kaya klesha abhija klesha bhayatyajit. Kaya klesha bhayatyajit sakrutva rajasam tyagam naiva tyaga phalam labe. Please read, Isha Mataji. 18.8.
Yeah. Anyone who gives up the prescribed duties as troublesome or out of fear of bodily discomfort is said to have renounced in the mode of passion. Such action never leads to the elevation of renunciation.
Okay. No, one second. So earlier verse, it is about the renunciation is the mode of ignorance because the person does not know only. Therefore, is giving up that activity. But now the person knows. But why is he giving up still? Why is he renouncing that activity? Because that is troublesome or fear of bodily discomfort. Therefore, is giving up. Okay, like that. Please read the purport now. So Srila Prabhupada will give two practical examples, earning money and rising early in the morning. Please read.
Purport. One who is in Krishna conscious should not give up earning money out of fear that he is performing fruitive activities. If by working can engage his money in Krishna consciousness or by rising up early in the morning can one advance his transcendental Krishna consciousness, one should not de- desist out of fear or because such activities are considered troublesome. Such renunciation is in the mode of passion. The result of passionate work is always miserable. If a person renounces work in that spirit, he never gets the result of renunciation.
So that's about the rising early in the morning. That is recommended for everyone. Okay, so we can plan for that. And secondly, earning money. Earning money in the initial days in ISKCON, there are so many problems, financial problems. There in the San Francisco, they had opened up a temple. And Jan and Prabhu, although there are few brahmacharis, and earlier time in ISKCON, Grahasthas, brahmacharis, everybody was staying inside temple only. And Jan and Prabhu was the only one who is, although he's a mechanical engineer, he has given his life savings, $5,000 to Swamiji for printing Bhagavad Gita. And Swamiji remembers that all the time. And then he was the one who's driving taxi because he didn't want to work under anybody. Although mechanical engineer in US, he used to drive taxi for 18 hours and he is single-handedly earning money and the whole temple is being run because of whatever he was earning. So once Srila Prabhupada came to know this and he said, no, this is not good. Actually, Jayanand should not be working alone. It should not be only on his shoulders. And then he asked even all the brahmacharis also to work. And that was a new, that time, his only Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. He was a new devotee that time. And then he writes in the Servant of the Servants that he also started working in a film studio, Kodak film studio, like that. And whatever he was earning was very meager actually. Uh, Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj and Vishnujan Swami. Vishnujan Swami used to make some flutes out of bamboo and he used to try to sell them, but he was not making any money. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj that time he used to earn something like $40 a week. Uh, yeah, $50 a week, something like that. And then one time what happened, they gave up that work also because it was not helping much to Janan and to the temple. Then they started going on Nagar Sankirtan. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj ji came up with this idea of distributing Back to Godhead magazines. And they were not asking, selling as such, they were distributing and collecting the donations like that. And like that, very nicely organized Bhujanga players, Kartal players, etc., etc. And it became very hit. And that's how they were earning almost $40 per day because of this Back to Godhead distribution. That's how Back to Godhead distribution started in ISKCON. And that's how Srila Prabhupada was very, very pleased with this uh, endeavor of Tamal Krishna Maharaj, and that's how he started becoming Srila Prabhupada's man from that time onwards. So that's about earning money. Even brahmacharis those days, they were doing like that. Otherwise, later on, of course, there in ISKCON, there was some kind of this thing disturbance because the grahasthas, they were actually asked to go out of the temple and start working and start staying outside the temple. So in initial days, the grahasthas were less, brahmacharis were because everybody was joining the temple. But now, of course, we know the maximum are grahasthas, very less. The brahmacharis full time dedicated. But then they observed that some people they were renouncing the work because instead of doing career earning money outside, which is troublesome, they thought temple is a nice place where we can get nice prasadam 3 times or 2 times or whatever, a nice place to stay. And Prabhupada then has written in this Chaitanya Charitamrita purports that eating prasadam and simply sleeping, it's actually not good. Temples are not meant for eating and sleeping. That's actually very, very dangerous for those people themselves, like that. So that's out about because the career, working outside in the world is, of course, it is troublesome. There's no doubt. But just because it is troublesome, I will give it up. That is, I will retire now. Okay, that activity. Even Arjuna in the beginning of the 3rd chapter, he was saying this. Prabhupada writes in the purport 3.1 that sometimes people think Krishna consciousness is inertia. I mean, just go and retire, give up your activities. No, it is not. Actually, in ISKCON, I mean, in Krishna consciousness, we need to work more than what we work outside, like that. One Srila Prabhupada was asked in Australia, Swamiji, do you work? Means they thought you do only this Hare Krishna. You have any other work? Do you earn some money, do some work? Swamiji said, I work more than you. You cannot imagine how much I am working 20 hours a day. Even these my young disciples, they cannot cope up with me. So much I am working. You cannot imagine how much work we are doing, but we are doing it for Krishna. So giving it up because it is troublesome, that is mode of passion. Now the tyaga, giving it up in the mode of goodness. Karyam iti eva yat karma niyatam kriyate arjuna sangam tyaktva phalam chaiva satyaga satviko mata. Please read Prasanna Gopal.
O Arjuna, when one performs his prescribed duty only because it ought to be done and renounces all material association and all attachment to the fruits, his renunciation is said to be in the mode of goodness.
So sangam tyaktva, giving up the identification as the doer, Shri Baldev Bhushan says, and then giving up all the sangam tyaktva, phalam cha eva, phalam also, fruits of the works, results of the work, giving up both of them, that's actually in the mode of goodness. Please read the purport also.
Prescribed duties must be performed with this mentality. One must act without attachment for the results. He should be disassociated from the modes of work. A man working in Krishna consciousness in factory does not associate himself with the work of the factory, nor with the workers of the factory. He simply works for Krishna. And when he gives up the results of Krishna, he is acting transcendently.
Yes. So now next Lord Sri Krishna describes the characteristics of one who is fixed in such sattvika tyaga. How is medhavi, how is intelligent renouncer. Na dveshta kushalam karma, kushale nanusajjate, tyagi sattvam samavishto, medhavi chinna samshaya. Please read Aruna Mataji.
The intelligent renouncer, situated in the mode of goodness, neither hateful of inauspicious work nor attached to auspicious work, has no doubts about work.
Okay, so that's about the medhavi chinna samshaya. All his doubts have been, he has no doubts about the work because na dveshti akushalam karma. That akushalam, Prabhupada writes in the word meaning, it is inauspicious. He neither hates inauspicious work nor kushale na anusajjate. Kushale na anusajjate means he neither becomes attached to which that is auspicious, like that. So what is this auspicious and inauspicious? Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, inauspicious, akushalam means that which gives trouble to the body. Like for example, bathing in the early morning in the winter time. That's very troublesome, right? With the cold water. And kushala means that is which is pleasurable to body. Taking a cold water bath in the summertime, right? So he neither hates one nor is attached to the other one. Like that it is saying. That's how he has no doubts about the work. So please read the purport. Yeah.
Sorry. A person in Krishna consciousness or in the mode of goodness does not hate anyone or anything which troubles his body. He does work at the proper place and at the proper time without fearing the troublesome effects of his duty. Such a person situated in transcendence should be understood to be most intelligent and beyond all doubts in his activity.
So His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj explains that when in Kumbh Mela 1971, It was so cold. It was so cold. Prabhupada was there with all his some of his disciples. So it was so cold that even if you're breathing, you are able to see your breathing, and when you speak, all that comes out, and you can see. So cold it was there. And Prabhupada used to take his bath little late in the day, when the sun of course is not there in the sky. It is not present only. So it's very, very cold. But Srila Prabhupada used to take his bath little late in the day. And therefore everybody started, getting up late, and because so cold and there were warm kumbhals or whatever, tents were there. So Prabhupada saw that devotees are not getting up early in the morning. They're not rising for the Mangalarti, etc. So one day, Swamiji, he just took his gamcha around his this thing waist, and he went there on the hand pump. And with the hand pump, he took the cold water bath in the open, in front of everyone, in the early morning. So then this news went viral. Everybody came to know Swami did like this, Prabhupada did like this. So next day immediately, because Prabhupada wanted to set up a good example, from next day onwards, everybody started early, rising early, and they were taking bath, although it was very, very cold. Okay. Next. It is not possible to just renounce all work, both auspicious and auspicious. Why? This is answered here. Nahi deha vrita shakyam, 18.11. Nahi deha vrita shakyam tyaktum karmani sheshita. Yastu karma phala tyagi, satyagi iti abhidhiyate. Yeah, who's remaining? Next. Yes, Sundari Palika Mataji, can you please read?
It is indeed impossible for an embodied being to give up all activities, but he who renounces the fruit of action is called one who has truly renounced.
Yeah. So this is also explained. Prabhupada writes, it is said in Bhagavad Gita that one can never give up work at any time. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishthatya karma krut karyate hi avash karma sarva prakrutijan. Helplessly, one acts under the influence of three modes, and there's not a moment which goes without doing something. And the work is always done by body, mind, and speech. So it is not possible. So Prabhupada writes about that. So please read the purport also.
It is said in Bhagavad Gita that one can never give up work at any time. Therefore, he who works for Krishna and does not enjoy the fruitive results, who offers everything to Krishna, is actually a renouncer. There are many members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness who work very hard in their office or in the factory or some other place, and whatever they earn, they give to the society. Such highly elevated souls are actually sannyasis and are situated in the renounced order of life. It is clearly outlined here how to renounce the fruits of work and for what purpose fruit should be renounced.
Okay, fine, thank you. So it is not possible to give up all the activities for a living being, because he will be doing something or the other. So better course of action is do it for the do everything and offer the results to Krishna, like that it is being said. So there's a nice example of Jayananda Prabhu. Although he was a mechanical engineer, he was the first one to rise, the last one to sleep. And he's wherever the Rath Yatra, because Rath Yatra is coming in Pune also now, wherever the Rath Yatra goes on ISKCON, his photograph is always, Srila Prabhupada instructed, his photograph should be there, always there on the cart, because he is the pioneer. He is the one who started Rath Yatra. He was a mechanical engineer. He constructed, designed the cart itself. And as we said earlier, he used to work 18 hours driving taxi earlier. And then not only that, he used to manufacture the Ratha. He used to go and get the police permissions and all the required permissions. And he used to collect donations for the Rath Yatra. He was so sweet, in dealing with the people. People always used to remember him. Always very jolly, always very pleasing personality. And he will engage different people in the construction or the manufacturing of the Ratha, for the Rath Yatra. He will also not hesitate to take the garbage cans and empty them, like that. So he is performing all kinds of activities, not just one kind of activity. And what about the fruits? He will never desire for the fruits. Whenever Prabhupada used to visit that center where he is there, he will never go and sit in front of Prabhupada or have some one-to-one discussion. He will not go only. And then Srila Prabhupada has to ask, oh, very Jan, please call him, please call him. And that's how, then he used to say, he used to come and then he used to offer his obeisances like that. So it is not possible that we give up the work in toto, give up all the activities. It is not possible. But we can at least try to give up the fruits of the work. That is actually the real tyaga. Okay. Now, the Lord will talk about the atyagina, one who does not renounces. What happens to him? Anishtam ishtam 18.12. Anishtam ishtam mishram cha trividham karmana phalam bhavati atyaginam pretya natu sannyasinam kvachit. Please read. Mukunda Pad, Prabhuji.
He is not available to read, Prabhuji.
For one,
Okay, you can read, Prabhu. Arun.
Yes, Prabhuji. Uh,
Shall I read?
for one who is not renounced, the threefold fruits of action, desirable, undesirable, and mixed, accrue after death. But those who are in the renounced order of life have no such result to suffer or enjoy.
Okay. So it's being talked about the atyaginas. Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan says, those who do not renounce the way it is described by me, means by Krishna, atyaginam. After death, pretya means after death. There are three types of results. Number one is suffering in the form of hell, going to the hell, anishtam, and happiness in the form of swarga, going to swarga, ishtam. Anishtam means going to hell, ishtam means attaining swarga. And Mishram means attaining, some for some activity you go to hell and then you go to Swarga also. A mixture of happiness and suffering in human form. This is not for those persons who are renounced, as I have declared. They attain liberation by jnana contained within the actions. This is the result of tyaga that I explained. But these three kinds of results are there for those who do not renounce. And then the small purport there, Arun Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
A person in Krishna consciousness acting in knowledge of his relationship with Krishna is always liberated. Therefore, he does not have to enjoy or suffer the results of his acts after death.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So this is the discussion in brief about the tyaga and sannyas. In one sense, they are same because both are actually giving up the fruits of the action and dedicating their fruits for the pleasure of Krishna or Guru, like that. So that's about the Nishkama Karma Yoga. This is being talked about. Now, next 13 onwards. I mean, somebody may say, na, ki, Are Baba, see, generally, any activity we take up, even in the devotional service, we have some fruits or we have some aim, we have some goal to be achieved, right? Then only we take up. It may be Nishkam also, but it may be mostly for, for whatever we need to achieve. So generally people, why do they do any activity? They do with the starting point is, what will I get after doing this particular activity? So that's actually the aim. If I don't have any fruits in that, why will I do that activity? I will not do it only, right? That is the general mindset in people. But now the Jnana section going forward, 13 verse onwards, why we have to give up the fruits? Because we have to understand that we are not only, our activities, our efforts, they are not only the things, there is something else other than that. So there are five factors which contribute to the success of any work, which result in getting the fruit of any work. So what are those factors? Now this comes under the Jnana section, which is the analysis. So Lord Krishna explains based on the Vedanta earlier also he explained Sankhya, Vedanta, etc. Now he says 18.13 Panchitani Mahabaho Karanani Nibodhme Sankhya Krutante Proktani Siddhaye Sarva Karmanam. So, O mighty Amla Arjuna, according to Vedanta, there are 5 causes for the accomplishment of all actions. Now learn of these from me. Panchetani, 5 Mahabhava. See here now Arjuna is being addressed as Mahabhava. Karanani Nibodhime. Please understand from me. Sankhya Krutante Proktani. Sankhya says that the Vedanta says that these 5 reasons are there for Siddhaye Sarvakarmana, for achieving success in any activities. And if you know this kind of statement from Lord Sri Krishna, where he's quoting the, although he is the highest authority himself, but still is quoting the scriptures. So we have seen it earlier also, where he said in the Brahma Sutra Padaschaiva Hetur Madhir Vinishite. So this is being explained cause and effect. This kind of analysis is being done in detail in where? In Brahma Sutra, in the Vedanta Sutra. I'm just explaining you in Samasena, means in short only, in summary only, I'm going to explain you like that. So this Lord Sri Krishna himself does. So now, a question may be raised that since any activity performed must have some reaction, how is that a person in Krishna consciousness does not suffer or enjoy the reactions of work? Lord is citing Vedanta philosophy to show how this is possible. He says that there are 5 causes of our activities, and for success in all activities, one should consider these 5 factors. Sankhya means the stock of knowledge, and Vedanta is the final stock of knowledge, accepted by all leading acharyas. Even Shankara accepts Vedanta Sutra as such. Therefore, such authority should be consulted. The ultimate control is invested in super soul. Now, this is now Srila Prabhupada is speaking from the next verse. So, what is that? 18.14. These 5 factors are being named by Lord Sri Krishna. Adhishthanam tata karta karanam prutak vidam vividashta prutak cheshta daiva chaiva atra panchamam. So, place of action, performer, various senses, many different kinds of endeavor, and ultimately the super soul. These are the 5 factors of action. So, what? Adhishthanam. Adhishthanam is, you see, the place. I mean, the place referred here is to the body. The what kind of body you have, that will also matter. Karta means who is the jiva, the worker, that he will matter. Karna means various instruments or senses which a person has, right? They will matter, the Gyanendriyas, Karmendriyas, etc. And Karanam cha pruthak vidam. Vividasya pruthak cheshta. Vividasya pruthak cheshta means different endeavors which we perform for getting the results. So these 4 things are in our hand. The body, ourselves, the various senses, and various kinds of endeavors which we make. And the 5th reason, which is not in our hand directly, is Daiva Chaivatra Panchama. Means Daiva means it is the supreme cause. No? That ultimately the super soul here, Srila Prabhupada says, these are the 5 factors which are the which are actually responsible for achieving success. Siddhaye sarva karmana, like that it is being said. So you see many times, you know, these sports personalities, you know, sometimes they pump their fist or they celebrate whatever success they achieve, and I'm the one and I'm the doer. I have done it because of my skill, because of my this thing. They have achieved it. And many times you also see sometimes they have some superstitions also. You know, somebody carrying in our times, some cricketer carrying a red handkerchief in his pocket, or somebody after, you know, coming out, you know, looking up here, there, or somebody always walking from the left side when they go out to bat or whatever like that. So many times these sports personalities also, they understand sometimes we actually endeavor so hard. Sometimes in the Olympics, you know, they have some breakdown or whatever, and they cry because all their efforts, 4 years they have worked so hard, and now they have some cramps and this and that, etc. So they are not able to, you know, even run, complete the lap. What to talk about achieving success or medal, getting a medal. So sometimes the sports personalities, they also understand. Sometimes they show, you know, everything I am doing. Sometimes they also understand things are beyond my hard work, my skills, my endeavors. There's some other factor which is not in my control. So therefore, they have some superstitious, etc. like that. So, Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan says that which is ruled adhisthayate by the jiva is called adhishthanam. Means we are the jiva, the soul is ruling this body, is using this body. So this body is the one which is the main factor, which is the first factor. Now, if you take an example of let's say two warriors. Now the battle is being fought in the Kurukshetra. There is Arjuna and there is Duryodhana also. We give this for examples, right? Externally, both are doing the same activity, but there's a vast difference in their consciousness. That's how we quote this example. Similarly, devotee is also working outside and karmi is also working outside, but there's a vast difference of consciousness behind their work, and that's how they will achieve different results, not the same results. Similarly, in terms of these five factors, if you can analyze, there are so many warriors, right? And some may be very strong. Somebody like Bhima having, Bhima or Dushasana, they are having the strength of 10,000 elephants, it is said. So they have a different body. So they have a different, capacity to achieve some results. It is said Bhima used to just take and when he becomes angry, he used to catch the elephants and, throw them like that. That much strength he was having, Bhima. So it's a different, totally different kind of body, right? Adhishthanam. So you can achieve different result of success with that kind of body. So that's one factor. Karanam means Adhishthanam Karanam. So everybody has various kinds of senses. Or before that, Karta, sorry. Adhishtanam tatha Karta. Karta is the Jiva. The same activity may be performed by the war is being fought, but different people will have different results. So that's the Jiva. Everybody is having a different package of karma being carried. So who is the Jiva? Who is doing that activity? That also will matter. What kind of body he has? That will also matter. Then what kind of senses, what kind of, even the mind, the mental capacity, mental concentration, like we know that Arjuna story, hitting the eye of the bird, which is a test conducted by Dronacharya. So he was successful. So we have different senses, and using different senses, they have different capacities, different people. So senses also, they also matter. Karanam cha pruthak vidam. And pruthak cheshta means varieties of endeavors. It is said Arjuna is being called as a Gudakesh. Gudakesh means once he realized, I can eat in the dark also when the lamp has gone off because of the wind. So he started practicing in the night time also. And there are people who could, just by hearing some sound, they could shoot the target in the darkness also. That's how Arjuna started practicing in the night time also. So different efforts, different amount of practices, different people they do, or different fighters they do. And ultimately, these four factors are there in one's hand. And lastly, what is there? Daiva Chaivatra Panchamam. So this is the element. Lord Krishna, who is actually super soul sitting in everyone's heart, whether his sanction is there or not for that particular Siddhe Sarva Karmana, that will also matter very much. So therefore, we say, although they were Arjuna and the Pandavas, their number was quite less, 7 Akshoni. Kaurava were having 11 Akshoni, but still just Pandu Putranam Esham Pakshe Janardhan. Because Janardhan was there on their side, no matter what. They were, Maharathis. It is explained that, they were like the Timingala fish, uh, the Bhishma, Drona, Karna. They were one great fighters, and not so many great fighters there on Pandava's side except for Arjuna, but still they could actually come out victorious. So we can see in the episode of the Jayadratha's this thing, right? When Abhimanyu was killed, Arjuna takes a vow that by tomorrow evening, by sunset, if I don't kill Jayadrath, who is the cause of my son's death, I will give up my body, I will enter the fire. And everybody is happy on the Kaurava side, because now they think somehow we have to protect Jayadrath and victory is ours. Arjuna will enter fire and rest of things are very easy for us, like that. But that day, Arjuna fights so vigorously. But even now sunset is nearing. It is not that because Krishna is there, he will just, and Krishna will do everything, I don't have to do it. No, he's putting his efforts also. And so many such efforts that now Krishna at one point of time says, now the horses are tired. Now we cannot make them run anymore. Now I need to unlock them, take them to the water, give them some water, chara, etc., and take care of their wounds, heal their wounds, and then I'll come back. So Arjuna at that time was standing on the ground and he was fighting the war. It is not only Karna was on the last time, with Arjuna, he was on the ground. Arjuna also fought, not with once, with so many. But After some time, Krishna comes back, but still, now the last time is coming up. Still now, Jayadratha is far off like that. He's not able to reach him like that. And then that is the time when Krishna Daiva Chaivatra Panchama. Krishna comes into the picture. Krishna, blocks the sun, and it looks like it's now sunset has happened, and everybody joys. They give their like this fighting, and then Jayadratha comes out and is laughing loudly, and suddenly the Krishna says, "Be ready with your astra," and the sun is going to be there, and he removes the chakra and says, "This is sun and this is Jayadratha. Kill him now," like that. And not only that, he also tells him how to kill him, because if anybody would have shot, his father has taken this thing that if anybody makes my son's head fall on the ground, his head will burst into 1,000 pieces. So that also information is given by Krishna to Arjuna, and that with that understanding, he said, you shoot the arrow in such a way that head is carried into the lap of his father, who's performing some dhyana in nearby forest, and that's how that happens. The head falls on his lap, and he just wakes up from his dhyana and sees a bloody head. He just throws out, and his own head, his own father's head only bursts into 1,000 pieces. So all this is because of what? Daiva Chaivatra Panchamam. So many places. Arjuna, if you see first canto, when he's actually coming back from Dwarka, Yudhishthira Maharaj sent him to meet Krishna and bring some news from Krishna. And now, long time Arjuna is not coming back. So actually, Yudhishthira Maharaj is very, very worried. And then when Arjuna finally comes back, he asks him, "What happened? Why are you so morose?" So many reasons he asks him. And then Arjuna tells him the news now, like, now Krishna is no more. And although I'm the same Arjuna, I was carrying in my chariot Krishna's queens of Dwarka to take them to a place, but I was confronted by some coward boys, men, and they actually defeated me. Although I'm the same Arjuna, I'm having the same Gandiva, I'm having the same chariot, same horses, I'm the same Arjuna to who all the kings were, giving respects to them, paying their respects, but I was defeated. And what is the reason? Krishna is no more. So it is just like offering clarified butter into the ashes, instead of in the fire, offering. It is of no use, like that. Sowing a seed on the barren land, no use. So all my adhishtanam, karta, karanam, pruthak vidan, vividashta pruthak cheshta, this is of no use because Daiva Chaivatra Panchamam, now it is not there. Similarly, if you see Prahlad Maharaj's prayers also, if you see, there's a nice praise, Balasanyaha Sharanam Pitro Narsimha. In that he says, although in front of the parents, the child, many times parents cannot save the child dies in front of the parents. And although physician is there in the hospitals, the doctors, they cannot save a patient. Although boat is available for a drowning man, he is not being saved, like that. Why? Tavad vibho tanuvtam tad upekshitanam. If you ignore somebody, then actually he cannot, nothing good can happen to him, like that. So this we are talking in terms of the Daiva Chaivatra Panchamam, like that. So that purport, somebody can please read. Sundari Palika Mataji, can you read that purport? 18.14.
The word adhishtanam refers to the body. The soul within the body is acting to bring about the results of activity and is therefore known as karta, the doer. That the soul is the knower and the doer is stated in the Shruti. Esha hi drishta srashta. Prashna Upanishad 4.9. It is also confirmed in Vedanta Sutra by the verses Jnota Eva 2.3.18 and
It's
Karta.
okay, you can continue next, no problem. Continue.
The instruments of action are the senses, and by the senses, the soul acts in various ways. For each and every action, there is different endeavor, but all one's activities depend on the will of the supersoul, who is seated within the heart as a friend. The Supreme Lord is the super cause. Under these circumstances, he who is acting in Krishna consciousness under the direction of the super soul situated within the heart is naturally not bound by any activity. Those in complete Krishna consciousness are not ultimately responsible for their actions. Everything is dependent on the supreme will, the super soul, the supreme personality of Godhead.
So earlier we discussed this now. Okay, sometimes people they say Arjuna was a very good man before, initially he was not wanting to fight. So Prabhupada asked the question, so is it that because Arjuna later on after hearing Bhagavad Gita, he fought the bloody battle? So is it that Arjuna was a good man before and after hearing Bhagavad Gita he became a bad man? No. Or people may ask the question, how come somebody is Tyaktva Karma Phalam Sangam is giving up the fruits to Lord Sri Krishna, etc., for the pleasure of Guru Krishna, etc. How come he's not getting the reaction? That's because of the super soul is also there, and he will take care of these kinds of reactions, and that will become, instead of karma vikarma, it will become a karma. So therefore, although Arjuna fought, he fought with the understanding of this is my service to Krishna. Whether it is win or loss, that is not my concern. It is simply a service to Krishna, and Krishna is responsible for the results. It is, of course, Krishna's mission to establish dharma, and I just need to do the service as an assistance to him, like that. So this we need to understand. Otherwise, nowadays, there's in corporate world, they have this terminology, go-getter. Go-getter means I will go and get. Are you a go-getter? I will do everything on my efforts. In Marathi say that lat mari pani kadi. Whatever I'll do, I'll achieve success. No, Daiva Chaivatra Panchamam is very important. And there is a nice small purport. Somebody can read from the screen, or Sundari Padikamat, you can only read. This is from, again, first canto, where Yudhishthir Maharaj's reign is being explained. So read the translation first.
From him only all our kindly opulence,
Kingly opulence.
Kingly opulence, good wives, lives, progeny, control over our subjects, victory over our enemies, and future accommodation in higher planets have become possible. All this is due to his causeless mercy upon us.
So we are explaining this Daiva Chaivatra Panchamama. So please read the purport.
Material prosperity consists of a good wife, good home, sufficient land, good children, aristocratic family relation, victory over competitors, and by pious work, attainment of accommodations in the higher celestial planets for better facilities of material amenities. These facilities are earned not only by one's hard manual labor or by unfair means, but by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Prosperity earned by one's personal endeavor also depends on the mercy of the Lord. Personal labor must be there in addition to the Lord's benediction, but without the Lord's benediction, no one is successful simply by personal labor. The modernized man of Kali Yuga believes in personal endeavor and denies the benediction of the Supreme Lord. Even a great sannyasi of India delivered speeches in Chicago protesting the benedictions of the Supreme Lord. But as far as Vedic Shastras are concerned, as we find in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, the ultimate sanction for all success rests in the hand of the Supreme Lord. Maharaj Yudhishthira admits this truth in his personal success, and it behoves one to follow in the footsteps of a great king and devotee of the Lord to make life a full success. If one could achieve success without the sanction of the Lord, then no medical practitioner would fail to cure a patient. Despite the most advanced treatment of a suffering patient by uh, the most up to date medical practitioner, there is death. And even in the most hopeless case, without medical treatment, a patient is cured astonishingly. Therefore, the conclusion is that God's sanction is the immediate cause for all happenings, good or bad. Any successful man should feel grateful to the Lord for all he has achieved.
Okay, I think our time is up, so I'd like to stop here and see if there are any questions or comments. This all we discussed in relation to the 5 causes which are being mentioned in the Sankhya or in the Vedanta about achieving the success. So it's the 4 factors which also contribute, but the major factor is also of the mercy of the Lord, sanction of the Lord. Daiva Chaiva.
Prabhuji, I had
Okay.
one announcement, small, maybe it
Yeah,
will take
please.
few
Yeah,
seconds.
please go.
So, devotees, like as I have taken a poll that few devotees have not attended some exams of previous units. So probably today or tomorrow I'll put some messages. So do respond to it properly, because in the upcoming weekend anyhow we have to complete all the tests of previous units. So especially those who have not submitted open book, open book, they must write it in the upcoming week and submit it by the end of week. And for CBA and Shloka test, it will also be conducted in the upcoming weekend. Prabhuji has strictly said that those who have not given the test of previous units will not be eligible for the upcoming, that is third unit. And as we know, only 2 weeks, maybe 3 or 4 classes are remaining of this unit, and then we will have OBA, CBA, and Shloka test for this unit 3. So we must finish it by the upcoming weekend. I could not take follow up because of my health in this weekend. So probably in the upcoming weekend we have to finish it. So I'll put message accordingly, so devotees can plan. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Prasanna Gopal Prabhu, you had a question or comment?
Prabhuji, question. The question is like in means you thank you for reminding the Jayan and Prabhu. Like I wanted to tell, like I was also inspired from their personality of Jayan and Prabhu when I was I had heard Radhanath Maharaj's lecture on him. It was elaborate lecture. So in that I heard one more point that Jayan and Prabhu used to give whole earning. He was not keeping anything for himself maintenance. When Prabhupada used to ask like, have you kept for yourself? Then he used to say, no, I'm dependent on you, and if I require, I can ask from you. So this like his highest grade of renunciation we can see in Jayanam Prabhu's life, and there are many other very close disciples of Prabhupada at that time. That is one kind of renunciation we see as they are completely renounce their fruits. And other side, when we discuss in general, then we also discuss other side that we should balance in our lives, and we should we should be in the balance mode and not at like a kind of extreme end. Okay, in when we do for ourselves in our lives. So, but when I was introspecting a little bit when you were explaining that how much that quality of those great devotees in me, then and even what kind of or how many activities I am performing as a fruitless or without fruitive desires. So I very rarely found or very one or two things which I could notice, but most of the things are like fruitive only. So now from this stage to that stage, like are we expected to go or to that stage, that highest stage, or should we continue as per our personality for long duration? This slowly that will come automatically and without harming anything else around us or within our life, because we are not the alone person. Even brahmachari also to that matter, he is not alone, he has a society, and even our family life, we have family and there are people around, so we cannot take any absurd decision. So how can we progress like that?
So I'm just trying to understand whether you're talking in terms of going to the extreme in the sense of whatever we are earning, or whatever charity we give, we have to give it whatever all 100% in that terms you're asking, or in general you're asking?
In general, like charity is one part, because we see that in Jayana Prabhu's case, he was giving charity 100%, and even he was working for that reason because Prabhupada did not have money. So that was the highest thing, and even it was like it was the hoteling activity. Whole he had devoted in thing, but we cannot do anything like that. But whatever we are doing, then there is a gap. We have to balance it also. We have balancing mentality. We should be
Yeah, so
balancing also, and then
yeah,
also.
understood. Yeah, understand. So actually, our goal should be to become a pure devotee. Pure devotee, what he says, whether he's in the hell, whether he's in the heavens, whether he's a spiritual world, material world, he is attached to the service of the Lord, and that which will study in the nectar of devotion. Anya Bilashita Shunyam Jnana Karma Dhyanam Anukulyena Krishnano Shilanam Bhakti. So our goal now, we have become a devotee. Earlier we were just purely materialistic person, like before coming to Krishna consciousness. So our goal was simply to do material activities for our betterment and our family and near and dear ones betterment. That was our only goal. From there, we have to go on the spiritual platform, become a sadhaka, and try to do activities on the spiritual platform so that our goal is, going back home, back to God. But even becoming a pure devotee means going ahead of that. And when you become a pure devotee, the place does not matter physically, whether it is spiritual world or it is material world, whether it is hell or it is heaven. It is as long as mama janmani janmani bhavatat bhaktir ahetuki tvai. So that should be our goal. And when one becomes a pure devotee is always beneficial. If you read Prabhupada's Dhyan Yoga chapter purport 6.30-32, there he writes, I think I mentioned this also. A yogi may perform dhyana for his own benefit, but a devotee will go out and preach. So when you become a pure devotee, you are automatically preaching. Preaching in the sense by your own example, and you're giving out the message to the others also. So first we were doing only selfish activity. Now we are doing selfish means we were thinking bodily activities only. That is our self earlier, materialistic person when we were. Now after coming to ISKCON, becoming a sadhaka, we understand what is the self. That is the spirit soul. So we are doing activities on spiritual platform. But when we become a pure devotee, we do it purely for the pleasure of Krishna. Means we will preach and with for the benefit of others also. So it will become selfless, not only selfless, but it will become beneficial for the others also, like that. So that's a progression we have to achieve slowly, and that's how we have to continue with our whatever sadhana, swadhyaya, seva, sadachar, sangha, and that's how we have to move towards from becoming a Godas to Goswami, from false ego to real ego, and then becoming from an ordinary or sadhaka devotee to a pure devotee. A pure devotee is beneficial to environment, it is beneficial to plant, trees, animals, human beings, everyone. Like then that will become a totally selfless for the pleasure of Krishna. That's what I can think of, Prabhuji. That's our journey.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Kishore Madhav Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, one doubt, just a small doubt before that.
Yeah,
in 14 texts there are 5 elements, but desire is not the factor for the action.
So that jiva is there, na karta. Karta means soul. Soul has a desire inbuilt in it. Soul means he's always active, always desiring, always thoughtful.
Yeah,
Right?
desires.
Yeah.
So, thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, Kishore Madhav.
Yeah, yes, Prabhu. Regarding 14th only, the four reasons are with us, but the fifth reason is Krishna, Panchamam, what he says. So, irrespective of we having to desire to do good work, we sometimes don't get the result or the work doesn't happen, correct? But sometimes for bad people, they have very bad intention. Still, the desire happens. That means Krishna in that case actually enables them to do or gives the sanction to do the bad work.
Yeah. So we discussed this very elaborately last time. Reluctantly, he says, on your own responsibility. I don't want you to do this. He will say, don't do, don't do, don't do. Oh, do on your own. It's less like you say to the small child, na, I want mobile. Le mar jao, whatever you want to do it. Go to hell like that. So reluctantly, Krishna says, on your own responsibility, you do it like this. So your question is about why that success is being achieved.
Yeah. So that means Krishna gives sanctions to such bad things, but
Oh.
he doesn't give sanctions to good intentions at times.
No. It is not like that. See, what we desire and what we deserve. If you studied Ishopanishad, Yatha Tatito, I don't remember exactly, in the 8th verse, Yatha Tatito Vidadati Kaman Shashwati Besamabe. From since time immemorial, he is fulfilling the desires of the living entities in proportion to what they deserve. It is not that today I desire, I should become the president of India, I should become king of Britain. Or, no, you will not. You have desire, but what is your? Do you really deserve that? So that also will be seen. Not just whatever I desire, I will get. No, not like that. So desire and deserve both are there.
Thank you.
Both comes into it. Yes. So I think there are no more questions, no more clarifications. Sundari Palika Mataji, yes, you have a doubt, a question, comment?
Prabhuji, I have a comment. The last purport which I read from the Bhagavatam, it explains about the karma mimamsa, right?
It explains about the karma mimamsa. No, it doesn't explain. What is karma mimamsa?
The
What is your understanding of karma mimamsa?
understanding of karma mimamsa that if someone is doing good karma, then they will get good karma, and if they are doing bad karma, then they will get bad karma. But in last, the analogy which is used by Prabhupada in the purport, it's an analogy which cuts the karma mimamsa, that it is not entirely true. There is always a third hand, which is
Correct.
Krishna's hand.
Correct. So karma mimamsa, the Jaimini who propagated that, which Krishna also uses in the Govardhan Leela pastime, he says if we do our work nicely, then Indra has to shower. You don't have to go and worship Indra. Like that, he uses that, which is actually, I mean, karma mimamsa, people say there is no God. If we do things properly, whatever it is good or bad or whatever, the results are bound to come. There is no need of any God. That is the karma mimamsa actually in nutshell. But that is not the thing. What we have been discussing, what Krishna says in Gita, Badhaiva Chaivatra Panchamam. Apart from your efforts, these that four factors, the fifth factor is the sanction of the Lord, mercy of the Lord. And that mercy has been, we see that a normal person is not able to see, but whereas a pure devotee everywhere is able to see Krishna's mercy. Even if the bad happens in his own life, he sees this is Krishna's mercy, this has happened. Like Parikshit Maharaj, he says, no, this Krishna has come into my life in the form of Dvija Shapa Rupam. That Brahmana's boy, the boy who gave this sharp, Shringi, now Krishna has come in my life in that form. Why? Because I have been very much attached to my kingdom and my ruling. So uh, Krishna wants me to now renounce that, get detached from that, and focus on devotional service. And therefore, he goes to the banks of Ganges. So, like that, all the great devotees, all the pure devotees, they always see Krishna's hand and Krishna's mercy. So, that is what is actually required. And that is being stated by Yudhishthir Maharaj. Whatever is happening in our life, Draupadi was saved, Jarasandha was killed, the- we achieved success in the war. All that is because Krishna is there with us. Kunti Maharani also acknowledges this in her prayers. And therefore he says, whether it was, where we were trying to burn in the Lakshagraha, whether it was a Bakasura episode, whether it is Asat Sabhayam, where Draupadi was disrobed, Krishna only saved us. So you please be there wherever there was, these things, calamities. We could see your presence in those calamities. Therefore, we want calamities, like that she says. So that is the understanding of a pure devotee that has been explained in that Bhagavatam verse where Yudhishthira Maharaj says, all our good wives give kingdom, these, that, whatever we achieved, it is actually because of Krishna's mercy. He is acknowledging that. He is able to see that. But Karma Mimamsa people say, oh no, there is no God, there is no need. You do your work, results are bound to come this way or that. So that's how we can understand. Okay. Thank you. Yes, Arun.
Broji, in the purport that we have read, last purport. So the last line of the purport says that
In
Krishna
the
is the
Gita, you're
immediate.
saying? Bhagavad
No,
Gita?
not in the Gita, Bhagavatam.
Okay.
Yeah, this Yudhishthira Maharaj section. So
Yeah.
in the last line, it is said Krishna is the immediate cause. My understanding was like generally we think that I have endeavored for something, I have done something, so that is immediate cause, and Krishna, who is the sanctioner, is the what is that word? Is the remote cause, or our karma is the remote cause. So what? Which understanding is correct? I got little confused. Immediate cause. Yeah. Yes, please.
Mm. Yeah, what you said, generally we use that our activities or our endeavors, etc. They are the immediate and the remote. And there's one more Radhesham Prabhu says, I didn't remember that. Immediate. He gives the example,
One is ultimate cause. Ultimate cause.
ultimate
Prabhuji
cause.
uses.
Yeah, ultimate cause is
So
Krishna. Karma may be remote, and our efforts may be immediate cause. Like that, it is said. But actually, for a pure devotee, maybe from pure devotee's perspective, he sees everything from Krishna consciousness perspective only. This is happening, good, bad, or whatever. Everything is being done because for a pure devotee, as we said, because they're fully surrendered, whatever happens. See, a normal. This is my understanding. I mean, this is what I think Srila Prabhupada is writing. Otherwise, your understanding is correct. What you said generally, because For a karmi, whatever happens is because of his karmas. For a pure devotee, everything is orchestrated by Lord Krishna in his life. How come otherwise Arjuna, such a great fighter who fought with the Lord Shiva, he fought with the Kauravas in the Ajnatavas, Virata's kingdom, he defeated also them already. How come such a great fighter comes on the battlefield and he gets bewildered and starts crying tears and he has a compassion? Immediate cause is what? Krishna only, is it not? So for a purity, the immediate cause may be Krishna. Like that, from that perspective also, I think maybe Srila Prabhupada. Otherwise, your understanding is correct.
Okay, Prabhu, thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. So I think we'll stop here. Granthana Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ji ki jai. Samavet Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna.
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।